I've been watching a lot of YouTube content lately that has alerted the algorithm that I might be turning conservative or something. Because the problem is, like that eugenicist couple who are birth rate panickers, after watching more of those videos, YouTube is sending all other kinds of shit to me that I would never normally want to see. And one of the genres of videos that YouTube has been sending my way when I have the autoplay on is a lot of Chris Williamson stuff. You know who Chris Williamson is? He's like I see him on that Diary of a CEO podcast all the time. I don't think that's his podcast. I think that's another guy's podcast, but I see him talking to that guy a lot. Also, he's kind of like I guess, a relationship lifestyle guru, YouTuber, whatever. And I've seen on these autoplays him interview, he's talking to people like Jordan Peterson. He's talking to the eugenicist couple I was talking about the other day ago, that are going to have 7 kids and that have like DNA mapped all their children and self-selected for the best traits. But he's also interviewing a woman who wrote a book saying, like people should get married because children do better, and the lack of marriage is destroying our society. Blah 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 blah. The same talking points. So he had the nerve to rail against another YouTuber whose thing was teaching women how to have casual sex, get their sexual needs met, etc. And this woman apparently in her late 30s ended up getting married. And he was like, well, how dare you? You're not even following your own advice. You're not even. And I'm like, what the fuck? I honestly believe that teaching people, particularly women, how to have casual sex is a valuable skill that most people don't have because they don't know how to engage in casual sex in a way that's not awful. Because men have this whole Madonna horror complex. So if I'm casually sleeping with you, that means it's acceptable to treat you like trash. And women, we have a bunch of shame associated with casual sex. So if there's someone out there that's helping people get over all that stuff and make our casual sex experiences much better, I'm all for that. And I don't give a shit whether she gets married later. But he's saying, oh, she's a hypocrite because she ended up getting married. And she was saying that, marriage, you didn't need marriage, but then she ended up getting married. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? You can not need marriage, and some people get married and are very happy. I honestly think most women don't need marriage, but I don't think that women getting married, like negates that fact. Like maybe they just want to get married. And I think also that story is really illustrative and great because it shows you that this whole body count conversation is BS. Because this woman had a perfectly healthy, like really awesome full sex life before she married this guy, whoever this guy was. And apparently this guy didn't give a shit about what her body count was. Because, as we know, people who follow me, that's freaking irrelevant and has nothing to do with your character. And clearly this guy who married her understood that. So I'm like stopping the video, like rolling my eyes, looking for other things to watch. I'm like, I gotta retrain the algorithm, right? So I'm like, who the fuck is this Chris Williamson guy? Like, I've seen him all over, like interviewing Jordan Peterson, interviewing all these like right wingers, like red pill type guys. What I call the intellectual red pillars. Like, he doesn't interview like the really trash guys, but he interviews people who hold the same opinions and are aligned similarly. They just like might have college degrees and they sound better and they have like trendy glasses, like the eugenicist people, the Simone and Malcolm. Oh yeah, they're very highly educated people. They came out of Silicon Valley. They have hipster glasses. And then, but when you really dig into the shit they're saying, it is so fucked up. So I Google this guy, right? This Chris Williamson guy. He was a contestant on Love Island in 2015. This is our lifestyle and relationship guru, a guy who was on a reality show. And for all his hemming and hawing about how like people should get married, there's no evidence that this guy is even married or even in a relationship at all himself. So he's calling this other chick a hypocrite. Meanwhile, it's just like these people. Just be careful who you take advice from. Don't get gurued, because it's very easy in this day and age to get gurued because people develop this cult of personality. What they're saying on the surface sounds really great, but when you dig a little bit beneath it, underneath what they're saying is a lot of racism, classism, sexism, and sometimes just straight up eugenics. Be very careful of what information you let get into your brain because these people are super problematic.